I used to think short hair meant giving up. Nobody tells you that after 70, the right cut can do more for your face than any cream in your bathroom cabinet. Today I'm walking you through 3 cuts that stylists quietly recommend to their favorite clients over 70. The ones that soften the jaw, open up the eyes, and make your hair look thicker than it actually is. These aren't trendy cuts you'll regret in 6 months. They're the ones hairdressers keep in their back pocket for women who want to look put together without spending an hour every morning. I've spent years researching what actually works for mature hair versus what just photographs well on a 25-year-old model. I researched the best beauty fixes for women over 50, so you get real results fast. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. I cover this every single week. Part 1. The soft pixie that fools everyone about your age. Here's something most women don't know. A pixie cut done wrong ages you fast, but a pixie cut done right is the single most face-lifting haircut available to a woman over 70. The difference is in one word stylists use privately: texture. A blunt, structured pixie reads as harsh. A soft, textured pixie with movement at the crown reads as effortless, almost French. That one distinction is the whole secret, and almost nobody explains it that way. You've probably seen a friend get a pixie and thought, that's brave but not for me. I felt exactly that way for years. I worried a short cut would expose every soft edge along my jaw instead of hiding it. What actually happens is the opposite. Once the length and the texture are right, the eye goes straight to your cheekbones and your eyes, because there's nothing hanging down to pull focus toward the neck or jaw. Fringe pieces swept gently past the temples soften the entire upper face immediately. The fix is specific, so let's walk through exactly what to ask for. You want a pixie with length left on top, at least 2 to 3 inches, so a stylist can create soft, piece-wide texture rather than a flat cap of hair. Ask for the sides kept slightly longer than a traditional pixie, tapering rather than shaving close to the skin. This one adjustment changes the whole feeling of the cut, from severe to soft. The back stays short and neat, but the crown gets volume through layering, not through teasing or product alone. Lift visible at the crown is the detail that makes the biggest visual difference in photographs and in person. Here's the part that actually changes how people treat you, not just how you look. When your hair has movement and lift instead of sitting flat against your scalp, people read you as more alert, more present, more engaged in the conversation. It sounds dramatic, but flat hair against an older face can unintentionally read as tired, even when you feel wonderful. Volume at the crown does the opposite work instantly. It signals energy before you've said a single word. Maintenance matters here too, and it's simpler than most women expect. A light matte paste work through damp hair, focused at the roots and ends, keeps the texture without weighing it down. You're not trying to slick anything back or add shine. Shine on a pixie this short can flatten the texture visually. Matte finish keeps every layer distinct and visible, which is exactly what gives the cut its softening effect on your features. Let's talk about what this cut solves that longer hair simply can't. Fine, thinning hair at the crown, something that happens to most of us eventually, is nearly invisible on a well-cut pixie, because the short length and layering create the illusion of density. On longer hair, thinning at the crown becomes more visible with every inch of growth, because the weight of the length pulls what's left flatter against the scalp. Before, hair hanging heavy and flat past the jaw, pulling the whole face downward. After, a soft textured pixie with lift at the crown and fringe pieces framing the eyes, instantly opening the whole face. If you thought that cut was bold, wait until you hear what the second cut does for women who've never once thought about going short. Part 2. The shoulder length shag nobody mentions after 70. Most stylists will tell you shoulder length hair is a safe, forgettable choice. They're wrong, and there's a specific version of it that proves it. A shag cut at shoulder length, with heavy layering and a soft curtain fringe, is one of the few cuts that actually gets more flattering as hair silvers and thins slightly with age. The layering does something dense, single-length hair can't. It creates the appearance of thickness even when your actual hair density has changed. You might be picturing a shag from decades ago, choppy and a little wild. This isn't that. The version stylists are quietly recommending now is refined. The layers are softer, more blended, less spiky, but the core idea holds. Movement throughout, rather than one heavy uniform length, is what makes hair look alive instead of static. Curtain fringe pieces part naturally at the center and sweep back past both temples. Here's exactly what to request. Ask for layers cut throughout, starting around the cheekbone and working down to the ends, rather than layers only at the bottom. This is the single most common mistake stylists see. Layering only the last few inches, which does nothing for volume higher up on the head. You want the layering to start high enough that it lifts hair away from the scalp near the crown and temples, not just at the tips. Movement visible through the mid-lengths gives the entire style its life and prevents it from reading as flat or dated. Here's the outcome that actually matters beyond the mirror. Layered shoulder-length hair moves when you walk, when you turn to talk to someone, when you laugh. Static, single-length hair doesn't do that. It sits like a helmet. That movement is a visual signal of vitality that people register instantly, even if they couldn't tell you why a certain haircut makes someone seem more youthful and engaged. It's not about looking younger in a literal sense. It's about looking like someone who's alive in the room. The curtain fringe is doing quiet work here too. Center parted and swept to both sides. It softens the forehead and temples without committing to a full fringe that needs constant trimming. It grows out gracefully, blending back into the layers rather than becoming an awkward in-between stage, which matters if you're not someone who wants monthly salon visits just to maintain a hairline. For styling, a lightweight volumizing mousse on damp hair, then a rough dry with fingers rather than a brush, is enough. You're not trying to create a sleek, polished finish. The layers are meant to look a little undone, a little textured. Overstyling this cut flattens the very thing that makes it work. Before, one heavy length with no movement, sitting stiff against the shoulders. After, soft layered shag with curtain fringe framing both sides of the face, catching light and shifting with every turn of the head. There's a third cut I haven't mentioned yet, and it's the one stylists save for women who actually want compliments on their color, not just their shape. Part 3. The textured bob that makes silver hair look intentional. Here's something almost nobody tells you about going silver or gray. The cut you choose either makes that color look like a deliberate, elegant choice, or it makes it look like something that just happened to you. A textured bob, cut just below the jaw with soft internal layering, is the cut stylists reach for specifically because it makes silver and white hair catch light in a way that reads as polished rather than accidental. This matters more than most women realize going in. Gray and silver hair has a different texture and light reflection than pigmented hair. It can look slightly duller or flatter if the cut doesn't work with it. A blunt, heavy bob on silver hair can look like a solid block of color with no dimension. The textured version does the opposite, breaking up the surface so light moves through the layers instead of bouncing off one flat plane. Ends cut with a razor rather than shears create soft, feathered tips instead of a hard line. Here's what to actually ask for at your next appointment. Request a jaw-length bob with internal layering, meaning the layers are cut inside the shape rather than only around the perimeter. This keeps the outer silhouette clean and structured while allowing the hair underneath to move freely. Ask specifically for the ends to be point cut or razor finished rather than blunt cut straight across. This single request is what creates the soft, feathered edge that makes silver hair look luminous instead of flat. A side part shifted slightly off-center opens the whole face in a way a center part often doesn't for this length. What actually changes once this cut is in place is how your color gets noticed. Instead of people saying nothing about your hair, or worse, gently suggesting you do something with the gray, they start asking where you get it done. That shift happens because the cut gives the color a reason to catch light and move, rather than just sitting there as a flat field of silver. Color and cut have to work together, and this is the pairing stylists use specifically for that reason. One more detail worth knowing. This bob is genuinely low maintenance once it's cut correctly, which matters if mornings are precious to you. Because the layering does the styling work internally, you don't need to fight the hair into shape every day. A quick blast of cool air after towel drying, hair tipped slightly forward at the roots, is often enough to bring the shape back to life without a full styling routine. Before, a flat, blunt bob with a heavy straight edge that looks solid and static under light. After, a softly layered, razor-finished bob with movement at the ends, and an off-center part that opens the whole face. Now, all three of these cuts share one secret stylists rarely explain out loud. And it's the reason some women's hair always looks finished while others never quite get there. Part 4. The one product habit that makes every cut above actually work. Here's the part nobody mentions when they show you a beautiful before and after photo. The cut is only half the story. The other half is a single, simple habit at the sink that determines whether your hair looks like the photo or looks like the photo's tired cousin by 2 in the afternoon. Most women skip this step entirely, not because it's hard, but because nobody ever explained why it matters. That habit is applying a lightweight leave-in treatment to towel-dried hair before any styling product, every single time you wash. Not after you've already started styling before. This one sequencing detail is the difference stylists notice immediately between a client's hair that holds its shape all day and one that goes flat or frizzy within hours, regardless of how good the actual haircut is. Hair sectioned and lightly misted while still damp, before any brush or comb makes contact. Here's why this specific sequence matters so much for hair over 70. Hair changes texture as we age. It often becomes drier, sometimes more porous, which means it loses moisture faster and can look dull or frizzy without you doing anything wrong. A leave-in treatment applied at the damp stage seals in moisture before it has a chance to escape. Skip this step, and even the best haircut in the world is fighting dryness all day, which shows up as flatness at the crown, frizz at the ends, or hair that just looks tired by afternoon regardless of how it started. The visible shine and softness through the ends is the clearest sign this step was done correctly. Here's the actual outcome, and it's bigger than just better hair days. When your hair holds its shape and shine from morning through evening, you stop thinking about it. You stop reaching up to smooth it down, stop wondering if it's gone flat, stop avoiding photos because you're not sure how the back looks. That mental quiet, not fussing with your hair all day, is worth more than most women realize until they actually have it. A quick note on product choice, since this matters more than the brand name on the bottle. Look for a leave-in treatment described as lightweight or weightless, not one marketed as intensive or deep conditioning for daily use. Those heavier formulas can weigh down fine or thinning hair, undoing the volume your cut was designed to create. A few drops worked from mid-length to ends, avoiding the roots, is usually enough. Too much product at the roots is what causes that flat, greasy-looking crown by midday, even on freshly washed hair. One more thing worth knowing. This habit works with all 3 cuts we've covered today, but it matters most on the Pixie and the Bob, where every strand is visible, and there's nowhere for dryness or frizz to hide. On the Shag, the layering itself disguises minor texture issues a bit more forgivingly, but the shine and softness still show through beautifully once this step becomes routine. Before, hair that looks great leaving the salon but flat, dry, or frizzy by afternoon regardless of the cut underneath it. After, hair that holds its shape, shine, and softness from morning through evening, no matter which of these 3 cuts you're wearing. Now you've got all 3 cuts and the one habit that makes every single one of them actually work. You now know 3 specific cuts stylists quietly reach for after 70. The soft textured Pixie, the layered shoulder-length Shag, and the razor-finished Bob, plus the one leave-in habit that makes any of them hold their shape and shine all day long. That's not guesswork anymore. That's exactly what to ask for at your next appointment, in the exact words that get you the result. Which one of these 3 are you most tempted to try, the Pixie, the Shag, or the Bob? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. Next week I'm covering the exact questions to ask your colorist to keep silver hair looking rich instead of dull. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.